Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a normally aspirated video. This is going to be for the blue MR2 Spyder. And what we have in front of us here is a 6-speed manual transmission. And I'm going to roll through the gears and then we're going to start talking about what we're going to be doing with this transmission in this video.
First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, reverse. All right.
So one look at the MR2 Spyder, you can tell it's not a show quality car, but it does look a lot better than the day that I bought it. And part of the reason is because with each mod, I tried to do a little bit better than, you know, what the car came, the way the car came when I bought it. Basically what we're gonna do here is, even though the car was junkyard bound, it doesn't look like it anymore. The transmissions, the engines, whatever we swap into our cars, there's a lot of times that those are junkyard bound, or they may even be in the junkyard. Well, we're not just gonna throw junk in the MR2 Spyder. We're gonna clean it up, we're gonna make it look like new, and we're gonna make it worthy of the MR2 Spyder. So let's get into it. So you wanna run down to your parts store and you wanna get a few different things. So you may want brake cleaner, but not necessarily. It wouldn't be the first go-to. You can get engine degreaser. This is pretty good. I prefer the foaming engine cleaner because the smell is not as bad. And then you have carb cleaner, which cleans up pretty much everything with not a whole lot of smell, and it evaporates fast. So it's a lot less to clean up afterwards. And once you finish with the carb cleaner and you got everything rinsed off pretty good, the carb cleaner actually does a good job of that. I would recommend getting maybe 1 to 2 cans of foamy engine cleaner and probably 3 to 4 cans of carb cleaner. And then once you're done with that, you want to hit it with your, once all of the debris is removed, you want to hit it with your prep spray. And basically what this will do is make the surface of the transmission, engine, whatever it is that you're about to do, it'll make it prepared to hold on to the next step, your self-etching primer. And that's going to give it a real good base coat, and that should basically help it hold on to the paint. So your last step, and what you want to do is you want to go over it with maybe prep spray maybe once, self-etching primer probably twice, or until it's pretty well coated you can see a good solid layer of primer. And then last but not least, the engine enamel. And you want to do probably the first coat you could still see through. The second coat would be pretty good. Third coat, it should look really, really good, like a new piece of metal. So these are the things that you're going to want to grab from the store for the paint itself, prepping and painting. And to get the gunk off, depending on how much gunk is on your engine or transmission or whatever parts you want to do, you want at least 1 wire brush. So if it's something big like an engine block, you might need 2. The first one will get a whole bunch of crap on it, and then the second one will basically clean everything else up. So I use 2 for the transmission. I think I'm going to end up using 2 for the engine as well. And last but not least, before you start cleaning it, you want to use some masking tape and cover up anything that's important so that you don't get all of this different, you know, solvents on it and paint and whatnot, especially on pins inside, you know, plugs. And cover up the hole so that you don't get spray and other stuff inside the transmission. And that is pretty much it. So, and then I guess last but not least, you probably want to make sure you got a pair of gloves because it is a messy job, very messy job. Back on the grind. All right, so what we did here was attach the wire brush to the drill, and then we're gonna go over the whole entire surface of the transmission. So find a spot, any spot, wherever you wanna start, and start with that area and clean it up, get an idea of what it's gonna look like once you're done, and then just slowly sweep, you know, the whole entire transmission until it's all done. So we're just gonna kind of fast forward a little bit and show you what that's gonna look like. Hitting the cracks and crevices with the screwdriver. It is very tedious. It is tedious, but when it's all said and done,
It's actually very, very much worth it. Very, very worth it. And I just hope the camera's catching all of this. So we'll see.
All right, so about 3 hours later, this is what we got. Transmission completely polished, kind of, not really, but all the grit, grime, dirt, whatever is off except for hair. So I'm just gonna have to plug this hole and use a lot of degreaser hair to get this all out. And actually, I guess I did miss a few spots, so I gotta get in here. Now that we have the transmission case in a well ventilated area, we're gonna hit the whole entire thing with foaming engine degreaser. And this is gonna break down a lot of the crap that's still on it. And then we'll be able to use some high pressure carb cleaner or brake cleaner, either or, and it'll knock the rest of this stuff off the case. And it'll be ready for the prep, and then the primer, and then the paint. So I got the can of brake clean, and I'm going over the whole entire case. So everything that the foaming engine cleaner has already loosened up, this is gonna blast off. What you wanna do is go around the whole entire case, and if you see any deposits, you wanna hit it once, twice, maybe even 3 times, and it should be pretty much good to go. If it's not, you wanna just kind of focus on those areas, clean it up, and once this is all done, you're pretty much ready to use the paint prep. So now that the transmission is clean, we're gonna prep it, and we're just gonna hit every single surface that we can. And 1 coat is good enough, and it'll be ready for self-etching primer. And one more look at our transmission before the major transformation begins. So we're about to lay down a few coats of self-etching primer, and this is gonna make the transmission start to really look different. It went from dirty to clean, and now it's gonna look nice and smooth, and it'll be ready for the final coat. So stay tuned. All right, so we had a little bit of time to let it dry, and this is what it looks like. That looks good. So she is ready to receive her first coat of paint. And I'm just hitting this area from different angles to make sure it's very well coated. Alright guys, here's a final look at our transmission. When it arrived here at the garage, it was dirty, but we cleaned it up, we prepped it, we painted it, and now it looks nice and new and it's ready to go into the car. If you liked the video, drop a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to see more in the future, and see you in the next video.
Perfect.